Hi there, YouTubers. I'm going to show you my type collection right after this. So, I decided to take a look at my type collection. I've collected type coins for quite a while. And I decided to have a look and see if I wanted to fill a Dansco 77, the album, how many coins in the album would I have? So one of those Dansco type albums, I don't know, Dansco's, they're not out of business, but they haven't manufactured anything for a couple of years now. So those albums are pretty hard to find. But I did find pictures of one, and I found that in their most recent edition, you would need 76 coins to fill it. That's without the gold coins. So I decided to see what I had by comparison to that. So the first thing I did, of course, is I made a nice spreadsheet of all the coins that you need. And after going through the spreadsheet, I went through each of my type coins just to see what I had. So the very first coin you need is a drape bust half cent. And I do have one. This is a 1803. I actually have 3 of these, and they're all in pretty poor condition. This is the nicest of the problem-free ones. I do have one that has a big dent in it. It has nicer details, but it's a 1806. So this one might have a little corrosion on it, like maybe it was dug, but still a pretty nice looking example, I think. So I'm missing a half cent with a classic head and a half cent with the cornet head. But then I do have a drape bust large cent. This is 1798. I think I've shown it before. Next, you would need a classic head large cent, which I do not have, but I do have the next one, which is the cornet head, this one. And I also have the cornet head with the braided hair. All right, and that moves us to small cents, where I have the flying eagle. I don't have the 1859 Indian head, but I do have a bronze Indian head, which would be the next one, the 11th coin in the set. This one here is a 1861. Then the next coin would just be a bronze. Okay, so this was the copper nickel, and this is the bronze Indian head cent when they changed the composition during the Civil War. Then you would need a Lincoln VDB cent, which I don't have one. I didn't bother to find a circulated Lincoln cent, just to have the wheat one as an example here. But I mean, I have tons of them, but I'd kind of like to find an uncirculated one to put in here. Next would be the Lincoln Steel, which I do have in a holder here. And then you would have the Lincoln Memorial, and I have a proof one here. So the 16th would be a 2 cent. So I had plenty of those. There's an example. 3 cent silver. This is a 1853. 3 cent nickel. 1865. And then you would go to half dimes. So I don't have a capped bust half dime, but I do have, so this is the seated Liberty with arrows. I don't have the seated Liberty without arrows and without a legend, but I have the seated Liberty here with the legend. So I'm missing 2 half dimes. Then next would come the actual nickels rather than a half dime. So there's a shield nickel with rays and a shield nickel with no rays. So this particular one has no rays, so I need one with rays. So I'm missing a shield nickel. This is a pretty poor example of a Liberty head cent, but I have it nonetheless in here. So there are 2 Liberty head cents, one that says V with cents and one without. I have one without, but it's a gold-plated example, so I didn't put it in here. So I'll need to find the no cents. And then this is really a filler. It has no date, but you can tell that this is a buffalo nickel with the raised ground. So it's a 1913 for sure. I need to find a better example for this. And then here's just a regular example of a buffalo nickel. And then to finish nickels, you would need just a regular Jefferson nickel and then a Jefferson silver wartime nickel. So for dimes, starts with the capped bust. Then you would have Liberty seated with stars, which I do not have, but this is the Liberty seated with arrows. And then the Liberty seated with the legend, United States of America, on it. So I'm missing 1 dime there. Then you have your Liberty head, a barber dime, a Mercury dime, a Roosevelt silver, and then just a Roosevelt clad. So that's the first 38 coins. I'm missing a handful there. But now we get to the 20 cent. I could probably use a better example of a 20 cent, but this is a nice Carson City I bought a long time ago. So now we're into quarters. Much like the dimes, it starts with a capped bust. Then you would have a quarter with no motto, a quarter with arrows by the date, and a quarter with the motto above the eagle here. So I'm missing the first 2 of the seated quarters, but I have the one with motto. Then you would have your Liberty head, a standing Liberty. So there is a version 1 and a version 2. So the variety 1 is 1916 and 17. And then this is the variety 2, which is 1917 to 1930. So I need a variety 1 standing Liberty quarter. Then we have the Washington quarter in silver, and of course a Washington quarter clad. Now with half dollars, actually, so I rearranged this just a little bit. The Dansco album also has a state quarter spot towards the back. I decided to put the state quarters here with the other quarters. So there's my example of a state quarter. And then we would move to the halves. So you have the Cap bust. And actually there are two versions. There's one with a lettered edge. I know that you can't see it, but take my word that this one has a lettered edge. And then there's one with a reeded edge. I do not have an example of that. But here is the $50 seated Liberty with no motto on the back. See above the eagle, there's no banner. The seated Liberty with arrows by the date. And then the seated Liberty with motto. Then you have your Liberty head, the Walking Liberty, Franklin, Kennedy Silver, and then Kennedy Clad. Then we move on to dollars. So there's the seated dollar. This one's without motto. It has no banner over the eagle. I need one with the banner. After that, after the seated, you would have the trade dollar, Morgan dollar, peace dollar, the Eisenhower dollar, and then you would get to small dollars, Susan B. Anthony, and the Sacagawea. Next, the Dansco album has spots for the bicentennial quarter and half and dollar. And then it also has 4 spots for commemorative halves. So there's one. And then here's an Oregon Trail commemorative. And I also have this George Washington 250th birthday commemorative. And the last spot is, or the last 2 spots, there's a spot for a commemorative dollar, which I don't have, and there's a spot for a silver eagle, and all of my silver eagles are in my safe deposit box. So don't have any of those to show, but I do have one. So of the 76 coins for this set, I am missing 19 completely, and 20 if you count at least one that's a Buffalo nickel that I plan to replace. So that's what I would need to fill a Dansco album, about 20 extra coins, though I could find examples of some of those that would, so you would need like 18 coins or something at that point. But yeah, about 20 to finish it off. I think that this is a project I'm going to try to take on this year, is just to find the rest of those. Obviously the one worth the most is the other seated dollar. So that might have to wait for my stimulus money to come in for that, but I think I'm gonna try to, buy one a month, see how I pick them up. There are some like the VDB Lincoln Cent, because the 1909 VDB, the 1909S is worth a lot of money, but the 1909 itself you can find pretty easily. You can find a fairly nice one for 20 bucks. So that's not too big of a deal. And then even, just some circulated or uncirculated wheat cent to fill the spot there. Between those two, you're looking at, maybe 30. And then the others are probably, to get an example that matches the other coins I have, you're talking about, 30 to to $50 each. So we'll look at trying to find about one a month, see what I can pick up, and I will show you how the album would be looking if I had an album. Maybe Dansco will start producing those again. I'm not sure that I would try to fill the album anyways. They tend to, the little plastic sheets will move around and your coins fall out. So not sure I would try to fill the album, but I'll try to virtually fill an album, and we'll see how that project goes. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed looking at all the type coins I have. Obviously I have multiple examples of some of these. I tried to pick out kind of the nicest one for what would be my Dansco album. And well, if you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that like button and think about subscribing. And thanks again for watching.